send that link to my mom?
Hey, welcome to the Thursday. Yeah, you can send it to your mom, Michael. Welcome to the Thursday hang. I got my friends here, Horatio, Michael, and me.
Good morning. Good morning, fellas.
Hey, hey.
So what's going
Sorry to
on?
interrupt you, Jerry. Go ahead.
No,
Do your
no,
intro.
you didn't interrupt me. I'm done. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Do your intro. All right, we're done. That was everything.
how is everything?
Well, I still got Gene
I'm
Hackman on my
doing pretty
mind.
good. Gene Hackman, you just said that
That's
Gene
what
Hackman died of a gas leak, looks like?
it looked
That's what it
immediately.
seems like. Yeah.
As soon as I saw the headline, that's the first thing I thought of was carbon monoxide poisoning or gas poisoning.
They said the
That's what
cops.
got
They
Weird
Severe
said
Al
they
gas.
didn't.
Yankovic's parents.
They didn't see any signs of a gas leak, but with carbon monoxide, you don't know.
It comes from
Uh,
underneath.
yeah.
Underneath.
I heard they both extensively trained this dog, so the dog was actually making breakfast. But the pilot light hadn't lit, and the paw just turned the knob, and there was no flame. So he guessed. So the dog killed everybody. That's one theory.
All right.
That's a conspiracy theory. You know, it was a
You
new
can teach a
house
dog to make
too.
breakfast, though.
I read the article and it said it was a new house. Now, if it's a brand new house,
Um,
maybe maybe it was cooking with gas and the system wasn't tried and true yet.
Um, yeah,
Who
maybe
knows? But
maybe he
they
tried
blew
to
up.
barbecue something inside the house. Maybe he forgot he was inside his house with barbecuing a steak. These are all things that could have happened.
Well, he was
Um,
95. He retired at 75. That means he hasn't done a movie for 20 years.
I think that's fantastic. And I saw him, and he looked really old. Like someone got a picture of him without his teeth in, so it was even crazier. But he was really fucking old. So if it
95.
wasn't
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
it's pretty
gas, it
old.
was
Yeah.
yeah, for a dude.
When do you see a totally old dude being really funny in a movie? Because I thought he was so funny in Tenenbaums, the Royal Tenenbaums.
He
Yeah, he
was really
knew he
good in that.
played perfect.
Yeah,
He was perfect. And then he did a couple like super famous ones. Like I don't know, he played the president in something, and then he kind of just went away. But he fucking hit home runs all in every decade.
yeah,
That's why I say, Delaney, you got to be more like Hackman, and less like a hack
yeah.
man. I always say that to you.
More Hackman, less hack, man. Again, action.
So we haven't talked since we were all in New York, and a good
Yeah,
time was had by all. I was gonna look at,
got to see
Oh,
both
I
you
that was such a
guys.
that was so fun that I saw you there. Yeah,
I wish
because
I'd
we
have
haven't
had
communicated whether we were.
I wish I had more pictures. Um, yeah,
Oh yeah, I
let's
didn't
see
take
here.
any pictures.
I know a lot of people didn't. I was just like, I wasn't even thinking, like, oh, I should take pictures of this. I mean, I'm not on social media, so I really wouldn't share. That's the crowd outside of 30 Rock. I took a picture of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is that the
Uh,
old?
Uh, outside
Is that
of
the
30
same old
Rock or
gang that's
outside
still
of
hanging around?
Radio City.
well, it's right in front of Radio City, actually. Yeah. But right, on that street, right in between 30 Rock and Radio City, is where it was.
Hmm.
Where this picture was taken.
50th Street,
There you go.
50th and 5th Street.
Um,
If I'm to be
Ro-
correct.
Raj, who did you sit between?
It's Ellen Cleghorn and
Um,
um,
well, Jenny Buss and Jay Moore were like right in front of me, and
Jay Moore?
and Jenny Buss, Jeannie Buss invited me to a Laker game.
You know, I did not realize that was how I would have definitely like. I'm going to a Laker game actually in a couple of weeks. Paid way too much money for.
We
those
should
tickets.
call her. I mean,
I didn't know that was her. I forgot that they were dating.
Jay Moore, I'm like, hey, was she serious? If it's possible, I would like to go. Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, I mean, I just paid
around.
way too much money for tickets for my kid for his birthday, and I didn't even realize that that was her, that they're dating.
You always gotta have your eye on the prize, Jerry.
Yeah, free stuff. Yeah.
Free stuff.
I just bought some. I bought basketball tickets too for next week because the Celtics are coming to town to play the Nets.
Just beat the Celtics last night, 8 in a row.
Don't
beat
tell
their
me
ass.
that. I haven't seen the game yet.
Whooped the Celtics last night, man. Yeah, you can not watch it. Yeah, they beat them pretty bad.
Who whooped them? Who whooped them?
Pissed Detroit basketball.
Detroit.
Is Detroit good this
They
year?
were due for a loss.
I guess so.
Yeah, they got 8 in a
Celtics
row
are
now. Right
definitely
now.
due for a loss, and
I mean,
they got 'em
if
on
they're
back-to-back.
bitch slapping Boston all over the fucking place,
Celtics
they're
are
just humiliating them like that.
Celtics are right
All right,
now.
take it easy, Raj. It was not a humiliation.
They are
Back-to-back
goofing around
L after
and
they just won 6 in a row, and they got the best road record in the league.
they do. They're goofing around right now. They are not. They're just like waiting to get on the waiting for the playoffs. The Celtics are not.
Raj hasn't watched a basketball game in a year and a half. Well, they're getting slapped around out there. Humiliating the
Celtics are flying high. Now they're getting bitch slapped all over the place. At home, anywhere. If they play the Pistons, they're going to get it right up the anus.
The Celtic, he's trying to get my goat.
Well,
wait, so the Pistons
it's because the Bulls
have
passed away many years ago.
No, the Bulls will be back.
The Bulls have died many years ago, and now we're waiting for them.
You got some. What's with the maybe? Let's not talk basketball.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Let's just talk showbiz. Let's just talk straight up showbiz.
Dribbles.
So anyway, yeah, we had a good time at the Ford. I really wish I'd have. I saw her too, and I was like, I wasn't thinking that like that's who that is. You saw so many people at that thing, that I recognized.
Who's her?
Jeannie Buss is the owner of the Lakers.
Oh, she's Jay Moore. Jay Moore is married to her, so every time you meet her, she's like, "You got to come see a Laker game." And then I guess she told Tracy the same thing. And
what did Tracy say? I'm a Knicks fan. Shut up.
No, he said something funny. I gotta look it up. He said something like he didn't know who she was. She's like, "Who's your girlfriend?"
Who your lady?
Like me.
I own the Lakers. Oh, shut up.
Oh, damn. That Eddie Murphy doing Tracy had me crying.
That was pretty funny.
By the way, I was doing My Favorite Year backstage. I was doing, My Favorite Year where they're just flying through the studio.
I just watched that.
I was going like into Higgins' office, going into Lauren's office, going downstairs, watching people watch the show. Have a visual memory of Bill Murray and Lauren watching the monitor. Didn't get a picture.
Nah.
And then I just went to like the fucking cue card guys. I was kind of using that to say hi to everybody and watching, but in between commercials and music, I was like roaming around. And then I walked into the writers, Higgins' room in the office at 9, and I saw Kenward, who was my buddy at the time. And I'm like, where the whiskey at? And then they actually did have a bottle. So I had a
Oh, they did a
little
little whiskey shot, huh? But nobody's smoking in
Mhm.
there. They stopped smoking in there actually when I was still there.
They weren't smoking, no. Um, but once again, I smoked on stage after the show. I
I
got
smoked-
Paul McCartney high.
Did you?
Me and Shay are now very close because I gave him I passed him a joint and he was smoking it.
Who's that?
Shay.
Oh, shit. Uh huh.
Oh, nice. This is on
Uh,
home base?
Well, Paul McCartney was like, "Oh wow," and took it, and smoked it, and then gave it back. And then I fucking.
That's how you all got
Yeah,
COVID.
I'm like,
Fucking idiots.
Paul McCartney. Yeah, I was the one that started COVID, not anybody else. Like, they're blaming whoever, Maya and stuff, but no, it was me. I was passing around infected joint. And I had one joint left in my pack, and I gave it to Jack Nicholson.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah, there were a lot of fucking great people, and no one was being weird, no one was being like, no, thank you. Everybody was like hugging and stuff. Like it was like,
Yeah. I mean, I was only at the concert, but yeah,
you notice
it was.
people weren't getting annoyed with photos. Like people weren't getting annoyed with photos like usual.
They were not. No, but because when you were in there, you felt like safe. Like there was nobody around that you didn't feel safe around. It just didn't. It felt like, even in at the concert,
Right.
especially. There weren't any like agents or managers there. I don't know if you noticed that. And
Yeah, where did I see mine though? I saw mine. Oh, I saw mine in the secondary audience
yes,
that they set up in the Rosie studio.
I found out about that because I know some people who are agents, and
Oh.
people who I wouldn't have expected to be, sitting in another room, right? And they told me beforehand, they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, we can't sit in there," and I didn't even think about it. But I'm like, that made for a fucking great time. No agents around at none of those places. Nobody
Getting
was
in the
fucking
way.
getting
No,
in the
there
way,
was no
trying
one on
to
the
do
floor that
deal.
didn't
Nobody
need to
getting
be there.
weird. None of that shit, and it made it fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It made it all. Everybody
Right.
there, I felt safe. I felt like, oh man, it's like no jealousy, no like, oh, who is that asshole? Or
Yeah.
last time I saw
Exactly.
him, I was fighting with him, but it wasn't that way. Even people that I fucking were mad at or whatever, it wasn't that way. And I guarantee you, if agents or managers had been there, it'd have been a different feeling. It'd have been like, oh, people would have been directing people where to go, who to talk to, all that kind of shit. It's I had to.
They would have stuck, because you stick with your guys, so then you got to drink with your guys, so you're not open to talk to your other people. But this was like
Right.
one person after the other was like interesting and cool,
Yeah.
and
People
like,
you didn't know, people I'd like, that were on the show, people that that are out of show business, and it didn't feel like, oh, I'm not doing this now or whatever. It felt like just people, like it felt like an all class reunion,
like I had probably a couple gushy moments, but one was I went up to this is funny. Shit. Oh, I went up to Elvis Costello. And I know I'm like, this is 50-50. He could either be kind of weirded out by this or not. In either case, I'm getting a picture of some sort. And I just said, and I was just like totally, phony baloney car salesman. I'm just like, you're one of the, I just want to say you're one of the best singer-songwriters of the last century. I really adore your work, and it's very nice to meet you. I said something like that.
You said it to Bad Bunny?
Thank you. And no, Bad Bunny. That was for Elvis Costello. Bad Bunny. Me and Nunez were doing a bit about Bad Bunny, and we are like, "Is Bad Bunny gonna be there? Is Bad Bunny gonna be there?" And eventually, I got to a spot where I was doing Bad Bunny, and he turned around and started doing bits with us. Like it all came. It came
full circle.
Full circle.
You were making fun of Bad Bunny all weekend. He's like, he heard you.
And then he shows up. And he's like, something brought him to us and finished the bit. He's like, yeah,
That's
Bob
the
Oni,
third
what do you
beat.
guys want? Like whatever.
That's the third beat of the Harold where someone walks in. It's like, hey, I'm Bad Bunny.
Yeah, it totally was. And it was like so many moments like that. I mean, it blew my mind. I couldn't talk about it. Like, I wanted to text Jen and say thank you for coming. And then whatever, but I couldn't. It was just too much. It was too much to talk about. It was like too much to process.
Yeah.
Like, the brain's taking its time to try to save as much as it can.
Well, I felt like
Catherine O'Hara. I got to talk to Catherine O'Hara, and I fucking was gushing to her too. She's like, "Oh yeah, you're from Second City. Sit down." So she's talking to me. We're having a drink. I'm saying how great she is. I'm talking about fucking scenes she did. Beautiful. So I think she's primed to do your podcast.
Really?
Well, no, I was hitting up everybody,
Yeah,
man.
you
I mean, like,
her.
oh,
If you say Horatio said that you were receptive to doing it, my Second City podcast, he loves it and he loves you, and it would be an honor to have you.
Well, Raj, why don't you co-host with me? Why don't you co-host one, and we'll get Catherine on, and we'll double team.
Okay. That's
I want to
an idea.
have your children.
Yeah, invite her on, because you've been co-host. You've been on the show more than anybody, except maybe Drysdale. And you've co-hosted before. We've done 3-ways. We did a 3-way with Dorf. We should do one with Jerry. I should get you guys come back on the podcast to do a 3-way, talk about something.
A 3-way of what?
Fucking Guy Caballero. Talk about Caballero for an hour.
That's Jim Downey and Emma Stone. Jim Downey's eye. Something happened to Jim Downey's eye.
Oh yeah, what happened?
Oh no.
And I never found out, but I've never liked this guy. He was kind of an asshole when I did a commercial. And then I heard he was like a staunch Republican and crazy about it. So, I mean, I don't even want to get into it anymore. But anyway, I said some things. So last time I saw him, I almost fought him because I'm like, are you fucking happy? Because Trump won. So I kind of accosted him verbally. Kind of those chest pump thing. Like, you fucking happy now? Is this what you fucking wanted? And then he's the first guy I saw coming in. It's like some karmic fucking thing of just like, go talk to him. He's the first guy here. And I was like, hey man, I've said some crazy shit, and we've argued a little bit, but it's great to see you. And he was like, oh no, don't even worry about it, And me in my mind, I'm like, oh, I hate that I have that thing with that guy. And then the first guy I see is him. That Emma Stone thing happened, a little after, but it was wild. What a wild night.
Same thing. I was gonna say that was I could tell you the difference because I went to the SAG Awards last week. It's been like a crazy week for me. I went to SAG Awards and I could see the difference. And the SAG Awards are like the friendliest award show you can go to. It's only actors, so it's only a couple hours long. It's dinner, right? So it's one of those like dinners. So everybody's sitting around. It's not like you're, placed in seats and all that shit, So it's fun. Everybody's like talking and shit like that. But it still wasn't as friendly. It wasn't as like, to have the camaraderie that SNL reunion had. That was like a party. And this was like SAG Awards was like a party too. It was a lot of fun. I'm sure it's a lot more fun than a lot of other awards, but it still wasn't like that. And again, I'm sitting at the table with a bunch of agents and managers. No, nothing against you. Nothing against you. No, I have a lot against you. Taking my money, but not as fun. It had that thing of like, the network was taking us around. They took us at first the party. They take you to your seat. They take us to our table at the party. And I'm like, I don't want to just stand here at a table with the people that I work with. I want to fucking meet other people, And finally we did that. But if it would have been just up to them, we'd have just been like, just our cast, talking to each other at a party with a bunch of people.
I was
you
afraid
know?
it was gonna. I was afraid it was gonna be like that. Yeah, actually,
Mhm.
I was like that we were just gonna come out and be like, "This is the 2000s," and then
And
have
nobody
us
and
come
nobody
out.
talked to each other.
Like at
I
a
thought it was gonna
wedding
be
where
a
you just
clip
get
show. To
your
be honest, I
table.
didn't know it was gonna be all original. I was like so fucking pleased because I love watching the show when it's good, and it was really good. And I'm backstage and I'm watching the guys watch their scenes, and I'm, you know, moving around, fucking running into Emma Stone, doing bits with Emma Stone. Uh, it's wild. It's a wild night.
I was impressed too. I was impressed by the fact that they really went for the live factor. There was a couple, oldies that they showed, but not full sketches. The only, I think, full oldie they showed was the film, the "Don't Look
Belushi.
Back in Anger,"
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Belushi retrospect, which is probably everybody's favorite short that they did back in the day. I think that was Tom Schiller, right?
I
Yeah, and I
appreciate.
saw him at the concert.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
I
saw
saw him at the
Schiller.
concert, and I was yelling. I was yelling, Schiller, Schiller's real, and he was like, "Thank you, thank you," but no one would recognize him except
Look.
me.
Yeah. Well,
And
Uh-huh.
you called Gail Mathias Denny Dillon.
I did that as a bit, and then I did it on accident. I called Cameron Manheim Rosie O'Donnell. The bits weren't working. The bits weren't working that night. It was just all about hugs and friendship. I ended up like talking to. Are people watching this, or I don't know if I should be more private.
Nobody's watching.
I don't have a link my mom wants to watch, but I don't know what link to send to her for her to watch.
Hey, I'll send you one.
I talked to Punky Johnson
Uh huh.
at the concert.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm.
She seemed all sad, so I was like already in Cheers mode, and I was like, "You're a brick. You're a brick in this building. I'm a brick in this building. Of that thing, of what that is. Like you're a part of it. I can't take that away from you." Like I was just so, I was so like positive, and I'd never
Uh,
met her before. Again, someone who, because no one's watching, someone who I didn't think was pretty awesome on the show, but still, I had to talk to her and be like, don't worry about it so much. I know it sucks, but you're gonna live.
she's still working. She's still on the show, working on the show, huh?
No, she's not.
Oh, okay. But
She was at
there you go.
she was at the concert. I don't know if she was at the other one, but she was at the concert. She was
She
kind of
did
by
a
herself
she
and
did
like
a couple
looking down.
seasons. She did a
hmm
couple, I think.
It didn't blow up for her, but
Yeah,
you
she
got to
didn't really
do it. You
find
got
the
to do it for a
foothold.
couple of years.
I forgot that she was not on there anymore. Wasn't even thinking about that. So it would have been recent for her, right? Because was she there last year or year before last? I think
Yeah,
was her last
It
year.
I think
happened.
so.
She was on there last year, not this year. Her
Ah,
and that
right.
other
Okay.
girl, the heavy one that did bits about singing and stuff. I didn't see her
She
there,
Um,
sang
but
a lot.
people liked her.
who was that? Which one?
Too much for Delane's taste.
Molly, the girl Molly. Is she still there? Isn't she? Molly Kearney.
It,
No,
no,
she got
she's
let
not there
go.
either.
She did.
The other one was
Because
Chloe. She was Chloe too, but there was only
Chlo-
room for one Chloe.
Chloe Feynman is still there. Molly
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was
Kearney.
great. It's
That's
the
not
other
funny.
Chloe they let go.
Chloe Trost. They let go.
Right.
Molly Kearney's still there.
Maybe I'm wrong.
She's the
Right.
thin one, the shy one.
The heavy one is still there.
No,
She is.
She's not. No,
don't think so.
no.
she's not. Let me see. Oh no, she left. Okay. Yeah, I saw her. I talked to her. I didn't know she left. She left last year.
If you'd known she was gone, would you have talked to her?
No, not at all. No, had nothing
Yeah,
to
I
do
know.
with it.
That's why I kind of looked up everybody beforehand.
Well, see, that's the thing
like
that
your
still makes
favorite.
me mad because obviously this shit is still going on where they hire too many people and then they got to fire people. It's just like, why hire too many people? Why do that to people?
You can't look everybody
hire
up.
the people that you
Raj
think
said he
that you
looked
got,
people up.
and that's it.
It's like Lauren doesn't hire anybody unless you're in on the joke. Like if you're like Keenan is perfect because he knows exactly the taste of the show and the tone of the show.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Pero sometimes they'll hire somebody because they're funny and popular on the internet or because they saw them on stage and they were great.
But,
And then it's like, well, these guys don't know the first thing about like
well,
doing
also
a
there's 16.
sketch.
There's 16 people in the cast. Don't hire that many people. Go ahead, go do another show. If you got too many people, you got that much talent. God damn, that's enough talent to do another show. You could do a show during the week. You know, whatever the fuck. But
They had a ton
but
of
don't
support,
have
but
people
the
and
original
then
cast was just 7 people, and that was it. It's just 7. That's the way it goes for years.
that's all that
But,
that's all it needs.
Plenty of people
You know,
around. You could use
unless
the
you
band,
got
use the
that's why
writers.
even though like Lorraine Newman and Garrett Morris weren't prominent in the way that those years were packaged, they put them in good stuff. So
yeah.
as a kid, I'm like Garrett Morris and all those guys. They're equals. You know,
Just
there's
as
no
good as everybody else because you're in everything. Yeah. And you
Because,
can't.
maybe an hour and a half you'd see him fuck up more, and maybe there was sketches that didn't get on. But I mean, I don't know. That was kind of the smallness of it did work because you're all just like for that team. I remember when they did the new team in the 80s,
it seems like
1980,
it's
you're
just.
like, oh my God.
It seems like it's
This
just
is like
greed.
who killed my family.
It seems like it's just greed, and it's greed of like, oh, we got all these people. You know that a number of those people who don't get a chance to do anything on the show will probably still be successful, so you can still claim them. But I think, like for me, I'm just like, it's fucking wasting my time coming on a show where I don't have enough room, where there's 13 other people ahead of you. When you're trying to fight for this room, but you still get the benefit of me being there after I go off and be successful from something else, from another show. You're like, oh well, we've had everybody. It's like it seems like it's just greedy. You don't have room for them. Let them go. Let them go do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Also,
there must be some budget.
Chance.
This budget that they have to fill. So when they let people go, they get more money. So they're like, well, let's get 2 people for that. And it's like,
Yep.
Well, okay, but I mean, I guess that's how the system is for those guys, and the show.
I really don't understand why you hire people knowing that you're going to have to fire somebody.
They like the meat grinder of it all, I guess.
Yeah, and there's also that everybody knows that. Everybody knows like, oh, Rob Riggle was here, Jerry Minor was here. They were only here for a couple of years. They didn't get that could happen to me. No matter how talented you are, you can get fired. I personally don't
say that again.
People like, oh, Rob Riggle was only here for a year. Jay Moore was only here for a year. Talented people can get fired. Anybody can get fired. That kind of hangs over your head all the time.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing for a boss to be like, well, nobody ever gets bigger than the show. But for the workers, I don't think it, you don't have to put up with that another show. And another show, you get hired, you're going to be on that show if you're there. I mean, yeah, you can get fired, but after a season, you're on the show. It's not like you're worried every year whether somebody's going to replace you or you're going to get fired. That just doesn't happen.
It is in the back of your mind, though. The bulk, the hammer could drop at any moment for anyone in showbiz.
Well, no. I mean, that means your whole show goes away. And if that happens, that's hundreds and hundreds of jobs. That. If you star in a show, there are 1,000 people invested on that show being successful. That's everybody in the crew. That's all the writers. That's everybody. So, but if you're just a cog in a show, that's different. Like if my show gets canceled, that's my whole show. Everybody gets canceled. Everybody's involved in that. If I just get fired from the show, that's different. Nobody gives a shit. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's why
So
I
it
always
is.
felt
It's
as
different.
an actor. And Crew too. Crew is always one mistake away from getting the axe. But I guess that's anywhere.
Well, no, I don't know. Those guys have been like, there's guys that have been there for fucking 40, fucking 50 years. Like,
Yeah, you're
I
not.
think that
Trust me,
that
it's
O'Reilly guy.
different.
I remember
Yeah.
seeing John
Yeah, it's
Pinto's
different.
name in the credits. John Pinto, since I was a kid, he's been doing camera for SNL, and there's his name at the top of the list on the camera for the 50th. John Pinto. He came in and did guest camera on Conan one time. I got to meet him. He was kind of a prick.
How? I'd love to hear this interaction.
He was a short guy, and he was just kind of brusque. He was just one of those New Yorkers, like, yeah, all right, I'm getting coffee. What the fuck you want from me? You know?
Yeah.
A
And
real
you were
New
saying,
Yorker.
hey, what were you saying? Like, what was SNL like when you worked there?
No, I didn't talk to him.
How was he a prick then? He just had a
He was
pricky
rough.
like feel to him.
He was brusque. Yeah. I heard him chatting. It was a very small green room over there at Conan, and that's where they put all the coffee and the cookies and the shit would come out. This cheese plate would come out at a certain hour that had a lot of cookies and fresh coffee, and people from the building would come around.
Did they get mad at you for eating too much?
No, I was supposed to eat there. It was SNL where people got pissed at me for eating ice cream. Lining up for the ice cream.
Well, you know,
Did you
the
miss
intern-
a cue because of ice cream? Is that why you got in trouble?
No, that's not why I missed. I missed one time. I missed the sketch. I didn't make the floor. I was so tired. It was the last sketch of the night, and I'm like, man, this is taking a while. And I look at the monitor, and there's my scene. I'm like, oh, fuck. Didn't matter.
You missed the whole sketch?
That happened to me.
It didn't matter. It was just a baseball scene. It was just a bunch of bleacher bums. It was Raj and Jimmy being goofballs out in some bleacher scene. I told Josh, they got to say it. They got to tell us when the scene's up. I'm sitting there in the Rosie studio where they had that spillover at the 50th. I'm just sitting there and it's late. I didn't hear anything.
Spillover.
It's the intern's job to get to wrangle those extras. But that guy Josh was so nice when I told him. He was just like, don't worry about it. I don't think anyone noticed.
He's a nice guy. Very nice guy. I think he got married to a man.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, at the time, he was engaged to one of the other extras, and she was a woman. You sure about that? Maybe he changed
You sure?
his mind. Who's that?
Who is that?
Who's that? Put your glasses on, fellas.
Well,
None other-
Van Morrison?
wait a minute.
William
like-
Crystal.
Hey, it's Billy Crystal.
Again, you were
Another
amazing.
one season. One and done, Billy Crystal.
Really? One and done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Martin Short. Oh, so they only did one season.
That was that one weirdo season.
Holy shit. Magical
Final
season, though.
Ebersol,
That was
All-Star.
when, that's
went
when
for
they
the
got
All-Star
came back.
game. Basically, that's what it is. Nobody wants to see a series of All-Star games. You just do it once. And also, Harry Shearer left halfway through. It started very strong, and that season fizzled out. We still had Christopher Guest. That's how Christopher Guest learned to direct those movies, I think.
They did a lot of pre-tape stuff, right? Because what's his face was producing the show, and he did it
And he
the way that
capitalized on that.
you probably should do a show. It's like, why are we doing all this stuff live? But yeah. It's
That
funny
was
too
one of
because
Lawrence
like
Big Beats.
They should do SNL Spillover. after the show ends, and they have to put the seats. They have to have the extras watch the sketches, be the audience.
Yeah,
They do put some stuff cut from Dress on YouTube sometimes.
I know it's pretty
That's
it's
true.
pretty cool.
Sometimes I can't tell the difference. I mean, it's like I don't know why that wasn't on the show. It's just like cut for time.
Also, the short films, all the short films that don't make it for time, pop up on YouTube. It's really great.
Oh, really? The short. So is I wanted to ask you, Horatio, is what's his face still doing the films? So who's doing the films now?
I don't know.
That was
Jim.
the Don't Destroy guys. Are they done? Have they
No,
moved on?
those guys don't. Those guys aren't the film department.
Yeah.
They're not. They're not. A lot of it used to be directed by Paul Briganti.
Paul
one of my former
Briganti.
students, but
That was the other guy. Yes.
I haven't seen his name on there for a while on the credits.
And Jim stopped. Do you know when Jim stopped doing it? Horatio.
Jim who?
Signorelli?
Signorelli.
Oh, he
It's
stopped.
been a long time.
I don't know. I mean, he was there after I was there, so I guess, or maybe he got kind of pushed aside. I don't know, man.
I was watching a story that Leslie Jones was telling. I was trying to figure out who the director was, and she was like, "Those short films, man, those could be a bitch." I was out there all cold, didn't have any place for the actors, and she's like, I'm going home." And the director went, "What makes you think you're so special?" And she's like, "Fuck you." What do you mean I'm so special? There's nowhere to stay. I'm going fucking home. The fuck you mean? And I was just like, was that Jim? Was Jim still there? Because that's something he would say, but it's like, I think it might have been Paul.
Paul who?
Briganti.
Oh, Paul Briganti. Yeah. No, I don't know who's doing it.
I was like, all that shit came to mind. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, go home. Like, they're not getting into your like, especially like in those short films, like they would just have you show up. Jim would have you show up. You're like, you don't even know what you're doing in it. I'm like, oh, I'm an extra? I'm going fucking home, man. What are you even the background?
I hated.
Fuck you, man.
Oh yeah, Jerry, you did a Signorelli or two?
Literally, it would be like, just show up to 40th and 9th. They're shooting the film. They want you to show up. And I show up and I'm just standing around. And you're like, "Jim, what am I supposed to do?" Just stand over there or whatever. I'm like, dude, I guess I'm an extra in this. I'm going home. I'm not fucking being in a, like, you don't know that I'm here? You don't have like a fucking call sheet? Going home. So yeah, I knew what she was saying.
It makes it worse. It makes it worse that you want to be on the show and you think you're going to get a morsel, and then they fucking, not only don't they give you a morsel, but then they're like, "Get in the background, you piece of shit." So, your self-worth is already on the line, and then you just get bitch slapped like the Celtics got bitch slapped.
Well, and the way that Signorelli
Back
would
to
do it
earth,
too,
they
it was like his thing, and you didn't know what was happening. I mean, he would do a lot of shit on the fly, and it was shit that you wrote. A lot like, if you wrote a commercial
He was like
parody,
an old-timey director, like guy.
No idea what's going on, but you.
If he did all the commercial parodies, so once you wrote it, it got into his hands. You had no idea how they were dressing it, what they were doing on the set, how he had changed it. You had no idea until you showed up when he was shooting. There was no script. There was no shot list. There was no nothing. Just camera. Just
Jesus.
Oh, they're shooting your commercial. If you wrote it, you're like, oh, they're shooting your commercial. Go show up.
Well, and then you'd be like, "How you doing, guys? So nice to have you out here. You're finally starting to do some stuff."
I mean, serious abuse. Like, you get that fucking thing up there. Hey, how's it going, man? Come on. And I'd be like, well, just hang out in the corner. Just watch for a minute. We'll get you in here. We'll get you in. You get me in. Do you know what I'm just showed up. I don't know what I'm doing here. Just hang out. Just hang out. I know it's 30 degrees below zero. Just hang out over there. Fucking sit.
Yeah, having to go to that house in New Jersey or wherever the fuck it was, you're like, oh, it's such a long ride. And you have to be up at 6 a.m. I was like, I was just like straight up, don't put me in commercials. I don't want to get up. My last couple of years, I was just like, don't put me in commercials because I don't want to get up Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever you guys have in mind.
Yep.
Raj was
So
paying
you
his
think
dues. I
like,
remember he was not happy. They made him go out there and play some bum, and then that's the picture they used for him in the paper where he's a hobo. He's got all this shit all over his face, and then he had to go out and
Yeah.
see a guy where Parnell takes a shit on his
Well,
lawn.
the New York Post gets, SNL gets their new slob. That was
that was a funny commercial though.
It was a wonderful intro to New York.
Belushi.
To be on
Raj,
the newspaper and then all that shit, I was thrilled.
But the positive side is they were comparing you to Belushi because he coined slob humor. He reinvented it.
Yeah, in the vein of Farley and Belushi, so it was a complete compliment. But, I was dressed like a bum, and they said, SNL gets their new slob, but there's no context. It's like,
Yeah,
I just got so
no,
dirty.
that was not good. It's not. It wasn't like here, venerable clown plays a hobo in this sketch. It was just the picture of Raj. He's just grubby, and they put all this dirt on his face, and that's what was not in context.
Jim Signorelli. Well, me and Jimmy were going down the elevator with Jim Signorelli one night, dinner time, and when he's like, "What are you up to, boys?" And we're like, "We're gonna go to this restaurant and have some Italian food. You should come with us." He's like, "No, I have to go." But thanks a lot. He's like, "You guys have a good time." And so Jimmy and I, we go to this restaurant. We fucking eat, order all this shit, and it's like, that was on Mr. Signorelli. He bought us dinner. He called ahead, gave him his credit card, and got us dinner. And this was
That's nice.
It was one of those nice things. So don't badmouth him all the time, Delaney.
Get out of here. We love him.
That's
why we're curious.
Everyone has good in their hearts.
Well, he was
Are
like
you recording
that, right?
this, Delaney, for your book?
What does Jim Signorelli do when he goes home? Is there a Mrs. Signorelli?
He takes a shit, I think, first off.
Come on, not all the gory details. He reads the mail.
I don't know. I think his kid would come by the show. He seemed pretty normal, so I don't know. So that was just maybe his persona. He really was just, that was his thing, to be rude on the set to his guys.
It was,
and be a sweetheart everywhere else.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he was a nut. I mean, like when I wrote something and he was just like, "All right, look, you wrote this thing about the slave ship. I don't have time to build a ship." I'm like, "What? No, I don't want to build it. You can't build a ship." Like, listen, you drive me crazy with this. I'm like, I'm not asking you to build a ship. I really, whatever you do, don't. I gotta go out here and build a whole boat, but okay, buddy, I'm gonna try this, but you fucking really got me. You tie my hands behind my back, man.
You put like, guy looks out the window, sees Ferris wheel, and he's like, "I can't build a fucking Ferris wheel in 2 days, and buddy, we're gonna have to change what that joke is. I don't even know what that joke is."
I'm not asking for that. Yeah, well, we'll fight for it. We'll get your shit, buddy.
I think
know
it's
you
more
want
of an effects thing. You just have to put an effect or a picture up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to fight for that. That's gonna be $1 million. I'm just letting you know. Like, I don't want to know.
Paulie, get the fuck out of here. Put the fucking gel down and go fucking get the fuck out of here. Anyway. Those are some golden times. Welcome to the golden times of Saturday night.
Golden years. Did he ever direct a feature?
He did. He actually directed one of the Shaft movies. Or was it Superfly?
Really?
No, he directed actually his which is a very weird thing, is he directed Rodney Dangerfield, Easy Money, I think.
Easy
And that
Money.
became a hit. But for
And
some reason, he didn't make another.
Rodney Dangerfield was at the height of his career. Easy Money came out. It was a bad comedy, but you know nobody cared about the story. It was all about Rodney. He did
Rodney,
Caddyshack.
Joe Pesci.
Easy Money.
It was a great fucking movie.
Wow, Pesci. Did he have Burt Young as his Paulie, as his manservant, as his body man?
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking about. He
I don't
had,
know if it was Pesci. No, I think it was Paulie.
what the
It was
fuck is
Pesci.
Paulie's name?
It's Pesci.
Paulie from Rocky.
Oh, it is Pesci. But yeah,
Was it Pesci?
I think the other guy's his driver in another thing, like the one where he goes back to school. The movie where he goes back to school, with his son.
That's back to school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where Burt Young is
remember,
the guy's driver.
Yes.
I went to back to school because Harold Ramis was one of the many writers. It was like where there'd be a couple of writers, Babaloo Mandel, and and then another ampersand, and then a couple of names, and an ampersand.
Mitch Glazer.
So you could tell it had gone through a lot of hands.
So Easy Money was written by, this is weird, P.J. O'Rourke
Hold up.
is one. Rodney Dangerfield is the main writer of Easy Money, but P.J. O'Rourke was another writer.
Wow.
I was like, were they friends or something?
Wait, I know
I can't
that
imagine
name.
P.J. O'Rourke and Rodney Dangerfield like hanging out. But I guess, or maybe I could imagine them hanging out.
But you know how it is. They pass those scripts around. They're not necessarily in the same room when they get created.
Well,
Jerry, they're just acting, man.
this was what year? 1983.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember kind of enjoying those movies as however old I was back then.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time for a very good time for movies. Some of them were good, some of them weren't so good, but the good ones were really good.
For the better.
All these good movies coming
my
around.
beloved
Blade Runner.
I bequeath $10 million if her husband Mark can reform himself in 1 year.
You could do that standing on your head. But the road to riches
Oh, right.
is nobody's freeway.
I got it mixed
No
up.
smoking. No philandering. Hey.
You ain't worth 10 million. 5 million maybe. No gambling.
Hey, money. Pick around for 100.
No.
Hey, Frank Vincent.
You know what this is?
Oh,
This is just trying to play the Brewster's Million. Brewster's Millions goes way back. They remade it prior. I think that one had a lot of casting and then changes.
That was
They settled
1983. So that was Pesci before. That was Frank Vincent before. That was all before Goodfellas.
About 10 years. About 10 years
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. So Pesci before
It was-
Goodfellas. It was after.
It was,
after
it was Raging Bull.
Raging Bull, right? Yeah, because Frank Vincent is in
That
Raging
is-
Bull too, right? Yeah.
that put him on the map.
I don't know. That guy's amazing. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Also, the guy who played Tessio in Part 2, you know, when he's with De Niro and they go to see the operetta. That guy,
Tessio?
and he plays Carbone in Goodfellas. He's the guy that gets
Yes.
hung up in the meat locker.
Yeah, and he the
Yes,
one
yes.
eyebrow guy.
He has a
Right.
fucking great. It just is just so great. His bits, like he's dumb and fucked up. Like he takes the coffee, he's like, "Make that coffee to go," and he takes the pot. It's like, "What the fuck you doing? Fucking taking the pot? Put that shit back, you fucking
Well, you
lunatic."
You said go. You said to make it go. Fucking go. That's that. Yes, go. Get the fuck out of here.
Anyway, I follow
Like to your
him
own
on
fucking
Instagram. He's a super nice guy.
Cabanera, I think is that his name? Cabanera.
Carbone was his character in
Well, that was his
Goodfellas.
character. Yeah, but I I'm pretty sure. Let me see.
It's Tom. It's like Tom Savino or something like that.
Oh, is that his name?
Savino. Let's see.
Servino?
Tom Saravino. I'll try to find it here real quick.
Oh, I can find it.
You can
Goodfellas.
find it. Okay.
Frankie Carbone. Who played
Yeah,
Frankie
just going-
Coppola said
Carbone?
he was scared. Coppola
Who said he was scared?
when he made The Godfather? Coppola. No one had made that kind of mob movie before, and he didn't know how that was going to go over with the actual fellas. You know, it seems all trivial now, but at the time, he was slightly staining his drawers.
Who?
Coppola.
Oh yeah, I imagine he would be. Yeah, they threatened him like, don't get,
Frank
what are you
Severo.
guys doing?
Frankie Carbone is Frank
Frank Severo.
Yeah.
Very nice guy. Follow him on Instagram. Told him
I'll
you're
have to
great.
look him up.
You're fucking great in Godfather 2. You're great in Goodfellas. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The pleasure.
Oh, he's the one who's got to watch that guy? You're great.
And he doesn't look, but he looks way different. Like, his eyebrows are normal, and it's just, just looks different. Can you pop that up on the computer, Jerry?
He does look a little bit different. Let me see if I can get this on here. There he is.
Yeah. No, he looks like himself.
Well, he's probably wore a wig or toupee or something, so his hair is different.
Yeah, whatever.
No, he doesn't. No, that's not current.
This one isn't?
That looks like, no, it looks like, that looks like 20 years ago.
He looks like Don Adams.
When you say Don Adams, I say Playboy, Grotto, mucho sexo.
That's him.
When you
I
say
should say-
Adams, I say Garotto. There's my attempt at
There.
Don Adams.
Is that more looking now? More.
Yeah,
current?
yeah.
Looks like a cross. That looks like a cross between Ray Fiennes and Kevin Nealon.
I guess I'm gonna tell him that.
I didn't see Kevin Nealon. Did you see him last week? Or during the week? During the
I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't. He's not in the memory bank.
I
used to see
really
him
liked Nealon's news. I thought when Nealon was at the helm at Update, I thought he was my favorite of that era.
Because he did
a pretty great
I don't even
job.
think when Bill Murray did that update bit, I don't think he mentioned Nealon. Because there's a few people
Maybe
in
he
that he
didn't.
didn't mention that hosted update.
No,
That was
he didn't
really
get
well
everybody
written. I
in.
like that a lot. And I was like I was like a fan backstage in the writers' room. I'm like, his brother Brando Murray is going to be number one. His brothers are going to be number one. They're like, okay, Harry, but yeah, we get it. We all get it. We all know where it's going.
No,
No,
I didn't see
that
that
second
coming.
didn't happen.
I should have seen it coming. I didn't see it coming.
And was Colin Quinn there?
Colin Quinn did not show up. Weird. I don't know. That is a very strange one for me. I don't know.
'cause he was in town. He's in town. He lives there.
Maybe he was afraid
I
it
don't
wouldn't
know.
be the Love Fest Jerry said it was going to. But some people just can't make it for whatever reason. Like
Yeah, some people were
Harvey said
working.
he-
I know people that were working.
Harvey
Like
couldn't
I think
travel.
Jay Farrell was like doing shows. People had to do shows. They couldn't come.
I think Jay Farrell did show up though, didn't he?
Did he show up? I didn't see him
Yeah.
Friday. So.
Oh no, I think he showed up Saturday. Yeah.
Saturday. Okay, so he came
don't
Saturday.
know.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw it on TV, but Tracy had a black top hat. He looked like
Yeah.
You
I
look
saw
like
some
the
pictures.
Monopoly guy, like a black Monopoly guy in his tuxedo.
Yes. Yes. I saw some pictures of.
I
They
There's a
said
had,
really,
that
like,
there
to
was a
him
really
too.
good
He
picture of you guys. Of you guys. Like in the front, I think. I can't find that picture, but it's you and Tracy. I think that was in the New York
Oh
Times.
yeah, that was before the press line. We had to walk the press.
Oh,
Waiting. It was all randomly picked.
what was
And
say that
you'd
again?
wait in this little area.
You froze up. What'd you say now?
That we all had to do. We all had to walk
Raj,
on the.
with his delay and the darkness, it seems like he's piped in live from Serbia. He's in some battle zone over there.
So what'd you
Hey
say
guys.
now,
Sorry, Raj.
So
Okay,
yeah,
you're back.
What'd you say?
What was I saying? I forgot.
You were saying that when you took that picture that was in the New York Times.
Oh, if you're talking about the same picture, if I'm in it, am I in it?
Yep.
If I'm in it, then it was one that we took before we walked on the press line. Or I can't think of the word for all of a sudden, but it's, the rug, the red carpet. Sorry,
The red carpet.
There was a certain type of red carpet where you did all these interviews. There's a lot of like internet people there. Like, this guy has this podcast, so you talk to a few people, and then you'd go, and then you did one of those flash things, where they like, show you doing some funny, weird thing like that. And like, anyway, that's what I tried to do. I tried to do a bullfighter. I tried to pull my coat over the lens and just like.
Oh, you did the old Toro. Yes.
Yeah, I did that. So it's out there somewhere. I got to find it. But so we had to walk the press line, and then we had to do the pictures. And so and some person was calling out like names, like, okay, Molly Shannon, everybody. And then so I started being obnoxious, and I was like, Chloe Feynman. I was doing my parto obnoxiously.
Okay. Let me show you something here. Who are these black dudes right here, right behind Rachel and right behind Will Forte, sitting next to Chevy Chase? Okay, you see Tom Hanks and these three black guys. Who are these guys? Are they writers?
No, I don't see any of those people.
You don't see you see Rachel Dratch?
Oh, there's
you see
Chevy.
You see Chevy Chase?
Chevy.
Right. Okay, right to the.
Can you make it bigger even?
I see Chris Rock.
I cannot make it bigger. That's as big as I can make it.
No, that's okay. I see where you're at now.
See, there's Dratch, and then right behind. So
is that Forte's
eyes? These three black guys. Yeah, it's Forte's eyes. Who are those three black guys right there?
So it's like three guys, and that's Leslie Jackson or Leslie Jones back there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I don't know, man. I mean, why would the writers go on stage?
I think I know. I think they snuck in. I think those guys snuck in. That's why they're so happy. They're like, we fucking got in here, and they don't even know. They don't even know who the black people were on the show. It's like, that's Jerry.
Who played?
That Jerry?
No, maybe they're part of the band.
Well, there's nobody. There's only.
Maybe they're in the band.
There's only other cast members on this stage or people who appeared on the show. That's all.
Yeah.
Everybody else I recognize except them. I recognize everybody. And I kept seeing them in pictures.
Huh.
Wow. Interesting.
This is good conspiracy fodder.
They could have been assassinated.
They're an alternate reality cast.
I think they probably smoked part of my COVID joint.
What's this about COVID? Was there did a lot of people break out with COVID after the event?
Yeah.
Well, Martin Short kissed Maya, and Maya was sick, and so Steve Martin was blaming Maya and Martin Short for getting everybody sick, and they had to cancel the show because Martin Short got sick.
He didn't. He
Steve
won.
and Marty.
Yeah, and Marty won a SAG award, and he couldn't come because he was sick. And their cast won too. they won. Yeah.
Marty's career is better than ever, baby. Hot. Still, the age of 79 or whatever the fuck old he is. What else? So I tried to bring a guy in off the street, and they're like, "Sorry, Horatio, can't do it." I'm like,
someone you just picked up along the way? Uh-oh.
Breaking up.
Our correspondent, our Serbian correspondent, Horatio Sands, is breaking up. We're gonna
Am
try
I
to
out
find
again?
the
God damn it.
casualty. He's back in. He's going to give us the casualty list now. We don't know. No, we don't know the state of Horatio, whether he's well or not. We've lost the feed. He'll be back.
There we go. Wait a minute. There we go. Yeah, I'm sorry too. I'm like halfway like doing a bunch of stuff while you guys are talking and trying to figure out what's wrong with my computer this morning.
Okay.
My internet is just not as fast as it's supposed to be.
you guys hear me now?
We do hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, you are back. Congratulations and welcome.
Yeah, much better.
Assalamu Lakers. There's a 4-second delay in like saying something and then me hearing him laughing.
You gotta wait. Boy, if you tell a joke in this room with just the three of us, you put it out there and then you gotta wait. See if it takes a while.
Yeah.
It's like launching.
Well, I'm glad Jerry's doing other things so he can.
I'm getting ready for this next thing. Hey, here's something interesting or not. This is what they gave us to eat at the SAG Awards. With pizza with caviar on it. And people were spilling the caviar all on the floor and shit. I was just like, you were just like slopping it all over the place. Hey,
You should have put a plastic bag underneath it. Let me get that gold. Them gold
take a
caviar.
little bit of this, a little go bag for myself.
Hey, you mind spilling
see
your
the
pizza
three?
on my hand? What are you talking about? Just give me the caviar. Collects the caviar, brings it home, puts it in a nice jar. I got Russian caviar, baby.
Oh, you got people seeing all my pictures, man.
Are those pictures of Lady Di? Come on, man.
Let's get this off of there. Anyway.
I've been watching The Crown. And,
The Crown, huh?
And yesterday she actually died, and I was like, oh no. It bummed me out for the rest of the day because when Lady Di dies on The Crown.
I watched last year. I really found it interesting, the whole Dodi Fayed, that whole storyline about how,
Yeah,
because they
that's
really
the
went
one I'm
into,
watching. Yeah,
it's really good. They went into detail like how he really wanted to be in British royalty, and that was his way of like buying his way
yeah.
in, and he just like kind of passed that on to his son.
So this is a
And
historical
his son was
fiction.
Yeah,
a fuck up. It sounded like, you know,
yeah.
not. Although he did help produce Chariots of Fire as the show shows.
I mean, anybody else would have been like, "Oh, don't get involved in that, son." I mean, what you want to marry the divorced princess or whatever, queen? Like, don't get into that. But he was just like, "Yes, this will finally
Yeah,
make my family legitimate."
the father was like, "Fucking do it, man. Fucking ask her out already, bro. Are you guys in bed yet?" His father was just so fucking overbearing, and then shows it in the show. The kid was like, "Oh fuck, all right, I'll tell her," like, and then he's like totally afraid of the guy, so he doesn't even like everything he does is kind of like in doubt. And you're
Well,
like,
I'll
why
let you
did he
know,
die like this guy? He's kind of weird.
and why they were like playing into the whole press thing. Like he wanted that. They wanted the paparazzi following him around. Because he could have had a quieter life. If he really wanted it. But his father wanted that. He wanted him to be royalty, basically.
He wanted to show off, like, yeah, look, my son's marrying the mother of the future king of England.
And let's face it, that was his way of being white. You got in that family.
You can't buy whiteness.
You get in the royal family. There's no how much how much whiter can you get? Look, we're a royal family. You gotta treat me right.
Can't do that.
I don't know, Jerry. I'm in touch with a lot of Nigerian princes, and I've donated a lot of money to them, and so I know they're out there.
Well, they're out there, but they're still not white.
No. Heavens, no.
Oh, no.
It's so sad when you watch it on the show, like, oh, don't do that, man. Like, this guy's just, like, don't.
It is.
Like, you're watching The Dad, and you're just like, oh, come on, man. Just give it up. Like, they wouldn't give him citizenship just because, I don't know, they're assholes. Something happened.
Yeah, well.
And he owned Harrah's and stuff, and he tried to buy his way in, so they were like.
He tried to buy his way into whiteness, and it's just never, like, no. Yeah. It's never going to work.
And then when the fucking. When King George fucking fucked his cousin in Russia, that was fucking rough. You gotta watch this, Delaney. They did that earlier in the season prior, I guess, or maybe it was earlier in that season that you're mentioning.
The Crown.
It goes into detail. King George and what's the Romanovs, that they were cousins.
All right, I'll look at it. I like historical fiction, but when it's all made up and confabulated, that's all nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, like, the difference. Sometimes you get wrapped up in it, and you're like, did that really happen? But then you read about it. It's like they take license. They take a lot of license. Like, no one knows really what Jody and
I want more facts. I want more real events.
Diana
Keep it moving. Keep it going.
But it is kind of like the history of, like, political or royal, the history of royal, like, hits throughout the last 100 years.
Greatest hits.
The greatest hits. So, like, it goes to like when this guy had the guy who had to make the speech, he took over because his brother fucking was
his brother. Castle intrigue, palace intrigue. Isn't that what they call it?
Palace intrigue, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Take these
I
coins.
saw a movie that had a lot of palace intrigue in it. Mad Max 4? No, Mad Max 5, Furiosa. Thumbs up.
That's a pretty good movie.
It is, it wasn't as busy as the previous rebooted Mad Max, which was really good. I thought the way they brought Mad Max back was great. But it was a bit busy. And the second one was a little simpler. The story was simpler, really focused on the main character. And I thought it was good. Quite good. That Mad Max world, they really nailed it.
Yeah.
But I actually watched a movie this morning, which I thought I'd seen, and I hadn't. I mixed it up with a different movie. This was Sunshine Boys, with Walter Matthau and George Burns playing a vaudevillian comedy team who hate each other and have to get back together.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, he's great. They're both great, but Matthau is pretty amazing. George Burns isn't an actor, and I got to hand it to him for how little he has to do.
George Burns?
Amazing on screen. Burns does almost nothing. He lets Matthau do all the hemming and hawing and screaming and carrying on, and he plays the whole thing completely straight, perfectly straight.
He is my favorite movie of his is what was the movie where the three old men robbed a bank?
Love it. Seen it a million times. Going in Style.
Going in Style. I saw it when I was a kid, and that was like one of my favorite movies.
Me too.
Three comedy legends. I loved all of them as a kid. Art Carney.
No. What's his name? You got Carney, you got Burns, and then not Meisner. It's Strasberg, Lee Strasberg. Not a comedy guy, but definitely a legend. A legend. in his own time. He gave it his shot as an actor, but his place.
Why did that come up? The Sunshine Boys.
I just happened to have watched it this morning. But,
I remember that being kind of good.
To Going in Style. We went to the movies every Friday night, no matter what was playing, and they kept playing crap. But Going in Style played for about 6 or 7 weeks. So we just kept going back to the same movie. What are you going to not go to the movies?
Right.
And so it's a very nostalgic movie for me. And it's not hugely funny, it's really a drama, but it's got these incredibly funny people, and it's
really funny parts in it. Like some really funny things that happen in it too.
I used to go to movies at like 11 a.m. and it was kind of like the theater babysat me. I'd go with my brothers if they were interested, but mostly I'd go by my other friends, and you'd see whatever movie, and it was like, these fucking movies where people get raped in the 70s, this crazy, terrible movies. Like, I'm 8 years old or whatever. Like, why are you letting me, first off, go to the movies? Probably because my brothers are around, but also there was no Gacy. This is pre-Gacy. So I'd go to movies and I'd see all this fucking great shit. It was like, it would be nice if my parents would have maybe been like, hey, make sure he doesn't watch, anything too crazy. They were no good either because they took me to The Exorcist.
Back then, back then your parents would take you to go see rated R movies. I remember there was a certain drive-ins, and there would be like a whatever what do you call it, playground in the front, to drive in.
Yeah.
And I remember going to see like black exploitation movies and playing on a swing, and it was like like shooting and pimps behind me as I'm playing. Get that motherfucker out of here, slaughter!
Teddy's juggling in the background when you're trying to like move a truck across a sand lot. What the fuck's going on up there?
On a seesaw, big titties, big titties, 70s droopy titties behind me.
That'd be a fucking great. That'd be a great scene in a movie about the the gangs of the '70s or something. Just I don't know.
The playground scene.
It reminded me of Cooley High because they fight in front of a movie screen.
They do, yeah. They're gonna fight
But just a
movies.
kid, these kids playing it a lot and then having these titties and guys slapping with it.
That's always
Yeah.
funny.
That kind of encompasses this. It's kind of like a cliche of like saying, this is also what the 70s are like. We know we say this a lot to you guys, but really, this is kind of the shit that was going on. People lost their minds.
Yeah.
I don't know. The 70s was like, I don't know. I guess everybody should just be sexy. That's what they're saying. Let them watch some, let them watch this mediocre porn.
Yeah, I don't know what the thought of it was, or I guess the thought my parents were like, the kids they're not paying attention to this movie that we're watching, so they're just here. I'm watching this. I see this.
No, they
Yeah, I
never
saw
seen
that
it. They
movie,
think we don't get it.
Penn.
They're like,
The
I
Sean
don't
Penn
understand
movie
it.
where,
It's fine.
I think it's called Bad Boys,
That was in
right?
81.
Where they're in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good one.
and his
That's
girlfriend
a
gets
prison
raped?
movie, right? Yeah, it's young. I think it's young people are sent to prison, and it's Sean Penn is the main character.
It's a boys' prison, and they which is so crazy. They set up to rape his girlfriend outside the prison. They set her up, and it happens, and to hurt Sean Penn. But yeah.
And so I saw that as a kid, was like so fucking like damaged by that. Like, oh my God. Like, it's like there was no one there to be like, it's a movie. It's kind of stupid. I'll tell you why it's kind of stupid. It's a generalization of something. But there was no one. So you're just like, how do I process that? I mean, what year did it come out? Because that's when I saw it.
I think it was 81.
81. That would make me 11.
Let me see.
I
It was
able to
very,
process
very,
that
very.
one. The one that was hard for me to process in a way was Midnight Express. Because he started.
Yeah,
going
me
cuckoo.
too. Same thing. I saw Bad Boys is 83. Yeah, Midnight Express was hard to process too. It's just like understand.
That's like, and then when you're
Like,
growing
what
up,
was
you're
happening
growing up,
here?
and you're like, wait a minute, they're gonna rape that guy in the asshole, the worst thing in the world. That's what they're doing for years. You're like, oh my God, how do you process that as a kid? Like, what the fuck, Because I don't know how you were brought up, Delaney, but neighborhood was pretty homophobic, so that's the worst thing that could happen to you. Is end up in a Turkish prison and getting butt fucked and beat up.
Everybody
Toward-
talked homophobic in the Boston area, whether they felt it in their hearts or whatever. But that, as a kid, that's what you heard a lot of.
Yeah, people calling each
Yeah,
other
it was always
fag
gay
and
this, gay that. Yeah.
Well, on that note,
Oh,
thanks for joining us, everybody. It's been a good time. I am gonna have to take off in a few minutes. I got.
no, yeah, no worries, Jerry. I know you're busy. All
No,
right, senores.
I mean, what I'm about to do is definitely is as much fun as this. But
Well,
but yeah, whatever.
glad you're there to help out.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna say one more thing. I forgot what I was gonna say. I think it was something about New York that I didn't, because I haven't talked to you since we were there.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember now. There's something I saw, or I was gonna ask you. Whatever.
Chinese food.
sorry,
I missed out on
the Chinese.
Yeah, I
food.
missed out on the Chinese food. Yeah, I was telling my wife, I was like, I went to New York and was hungry the whole fucking time I was there. Never had any good food. She was just like, what? I was like, I was in New York City. I went to this one restaurant that I really wanted to go to. It was way too packed. It was like a line outside. You have to fucking put up with that shit when you go to New York. I was like, God damn. Then I called you guys. You guys had already eaten. And I ended up New York whole weekend. All I ate that whole weekend was Shake Shack.
Yeah, you ran out of the hotel room and went to some
In the
place.
hotel.
You're
I
like,
went to Shake
"Fuck,
Shack. I went to
gotta
Shake
eat."
Shack. That was all I could.
Yeah.
She was like, "What? Shake Shack? That was all you?" I was like, "All I had was fucking Shake Shack."
Delaney, do you like Middle Eastern food?
Yeah, I do.
There's a place called Nana by the hotel. It was fantastic. They delivered like in 10 minutes.
Oh, we should have not it. Instead, we walked through the cold rain for that pizza. The pizza was fine.
It was closed that day for
No,
some
no,
reason. No Nana. Oh, anyway,
It was
Great
nice
Flags,
seeing you
guys.
fellers in New York.
yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
All right. Well, it was good
It's
seeing
a
you. I'll
cliffhanger.
have
Part 2.
more.
There's gonna be this. New York's gonna be like a 3-parter.
It should be. I mean,
This is part one.
you should listen to Bill Burr's podcast. He talked about it for the whole time. And said the same shit that we're saying. Oh, it's so great. It's so
Yeah,
wonderful. Like he wasn't even on the show. I think he only
Right.
hosted a couple times.
You hosted a couple times. I mean, that's enough, especially when you're that popular at that moment.
Come on,
Yeah.
got him some slack.
You gotta have Bob Bunny. You gotta have Bill Burr. Bob Bunny, Bill Burr.
Bye-bye.
All right, cheers, my dears.
Be good, guys.
All right,
See you next week. How do I get you out of
All
here?
right, Jerry. Thanks, Jerry.
Be good, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this once again, you've joined us. Coming back to you, March. We're looking at doing the back of the room live stream. Going to have a lot of guests, a lot of different things. But stick with us. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.